Warning, this video may contain spoilers for late parts in the game. If you plan on playing this at some point, turn back now. You have been warned. Hello everyone, to a review that kind of came about sporadically, mostly due to pure curiosity to see if this game was actually as bad as everyone was saying it was, and I was incredibly surprised to find myself liking the game over the course of my time playing it. That's not to say that you should buy it on anything but a sale, which is what I did, because the story is pretty bad like people said. What really got me was the gameplay. Yeah, it's pretty simple and you'll usually find yourself falling into habits as you learn how to play the game better, but I found it a little better than Ninja Storm gameplay wise. I'll explain more on that in the pros section though. For now, let me explain about the game basics. The gameplay basics are pretty simple and follow most arena fighting anime games, except you can't throw out rando ki blast or ninja tools. You have two types of regular attacks that will feed into your comboing a lot, and varying when you actually attack to get past your opponent's shield, though you can break it by holding either button, which builds up strength into a shield shattering punch. You then have your chase button, which doubles as sort of like an instant transmission or substitution move, where you can get out of a combo from your opponent, but be careful because this gauge will deplete over many uses and you'll have to wait for it to fill up again to use as either. The dumbest thing they did with the controls though was the teammate button, which is R2. For some reason they decided that if you press it, it will bring out your next teammate, which you have a total of 3 characters per fight. But then holding the button will let them perform an assist move, which I really think should have been switched around because I ended up hardly using assist moves due to being kind of an awkward placement. Additionally, you have all your super moves and an ultimate attack. There's also an interesting thing called Awakening that I believe just boosts your strength and agility, but you can only get to this mode or use your ultimate move for that matter by losing 50% of your health. It then periodically allows you to use them again after some time has passed, but you can definitely combo these together as you can activate Awakening to draw the enemy close and then activate your ultimate depending on your character. Outside of battling, there's a whole bunch to do in the hub. From buying costume pieces for your OC, to buying super moves that the other characters use and even their ultimates, as well as getting to add skills to abilities like increased damage or even elements to the attacks. There's one-time items you can buy that boost strength and resistance to elemental attacks among other things as well, though you won't need them while you're going through the main story. There's also extra missions to do aplenty with free missions and even some pretty hard post-game missions. If you get the DLC, it actually adds 2 sub-missions for each character throughout the game, which I thought was a nice touch. You can also try out online battles, but I really never got into doing that. I'm not going to be going in depth with the story of this game, because there's nothing crazy interesting. It's mostly little moments of the different anime characters interacting, and most of that happens in the submissions anyway, and they aren't really relevant to the story as a whole. The story starts in the middle of a crazy battle with Frieza and Goku. Trunks comes to the aid of civilians, one of them just happening to be you, and Trunks finds out you're on the verge of dying, so he sticks a cube in you to give you the powers of the other superpowered characters. You learn how to fight, and eventually they ask you to join them in the fight against basically a shattered universe. You meet Director Glover, who explains more about the problem, essentially explaining that all the characters come from their own separate places in the Jump world, which is more of a universe. This Jump universe has somehow come in contact with the real world, and many humans with ill intent are being transformed into evil versions of what you've become. Throughout the game, you're led through a wild goose chase of just fighting off many enemies and villains until you start getting cutscenes with the bad guys, Kane and Galena, who are the masterminds being able to create replicas of the characters. You eventually learn of Kane's past being a true hero and fighting for what was right until an accident killed his wife and kid, sending him into a depression when suddenly all this craziness happened, turning him into someone who wanted to completely erase heroes from existence as their ideals are foolhardy to him. After finally fighting and damaging him, another person comes into the fray, being Director Glover, who turns out to be a god named Prometheus, killing Kane and setting his plan into motion to combine all the worlds and create a new one. sending Galena to keep the heroes busy. After attempting to find her a number of times, they find the true Galena and fight her, with Prometheus coming in the aftermath and finishing her off. You end up fighting Prometheus, though he extracts her cube, prompting a pretty hard fight where you can't use any skills. Oh, I also forgot to mention, throughout the story, Light Yagami is doing his mind game shenanigans, once falsely joining the bad guys to learn more information. Well, Light comes through as he brings Kane over, who willingly extracts his own cube and implants it into you, saving you from death but dying and giving you a second wind. You basically get your ass kicked again though, and Goku decides to have everyone give him energy to throw a spirit bomb, Prometheus dodging it, and it hits you instead. You absorb the power and decimate Prometheus, though his ominous words of him not being the only god to watch over the worlds rings in your ears. After you get back, not much has changed weirdly. The worlds are all still interconnected, and I don't know why, but it's probably just so you can have post-game stuff. I enjoyed this game a lot, surprisingly. The character interactions were pretty great for the most part, which was really what I was looking forward to. I also had a lot of fun messing around with the gameplay and trying things out. It was great to get a combo going that incorporated a character's entire moveset, and I was mostly surprised because I heard the gameplay wasn't that great, but I had more fun than the latest Ninja Storm game, because you can't just spam your ultimate attack until you win, with most enemy CPUs even straight guarding it if you're careless. There's also a whole bunch to do even after you beat the game, with free missions, online battling, and upgrading skills. All the other problems you've heard about though hold pretty true. Like I said, the story is pretty not horrible, but nothing amazing. One of the biggest things though is the cutscene animation being generally pretty bad. A lot of reused animation, which isn't bad in and of itself, but it's pretty poor and weird looking. And during cinematic cutscenes, the frame rate was actual garbage, but that just might be due to me playing on an original PS4. I didn't have choppiness in the actual gameplay though, so I don't know why it just happened in the cinematics. Yeah, I don't think many people would have thought that I'd have a decent time, and I am also included in these imaginary statistics, but the gameplay won me over just enough. I mean, it's just the other DBZ and Ninja Storm games, but I guess that was just enough right now. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next video.